Hello, everyone. I'm MW Nick, um, and this is supposed to be a little um, anniversary interview for my album Stuff I'm Feeling. Chapter 1, Stuff I'm Feeling. So SIF, for short, was an album just all about me. I've said this many times. It's about me. There's no fictional story to it, even though there was like those experiment videos. But I think those were just like little more fun stuff to add on to this theming around of a robot. That was what I was going for with the whole album. Just feeling like a robot trying to learn all these different things, and that leads into the stuff that I was feeling. The album took longer than expected. At one point it was a late 2022 release, but that didn't happen. A lot of the delays of the album came from not having a person do the narration of the album. That took a long time. But at times where I was not happy with the tracks, they took quite a long time for me to like figure out lyrically and sonically. So today is the moment where I get to share just the process of what I was thinking of making these tracks. So happy anniversary to chapter 1, Stuff I'm Feeling. Here we go. Okay, so here I have on my phone FL Studio. Every single song that I've made in my discography has been made on my phone on FL Studio mobile. Kind of repetitive saying that. So here I'm looking at at the dance and draw file. It says time spent on a project over 8 hours. And it was a file that started on April 13th, 2022. For reference, the album was released last year, around my birthday, like the last day on September, like the last weekend on September of last year, 2023. So there's that for reference. I would say the whole album started like late 2021 after the release of Butterfly, because I started to come up with new ideas of where like this is my personal life. I can't really think of a story to this. I need to vent. And that's what it was. That's what the prologue was. And then I started making more from that. So Dance and Draw was one of the first few ideas. One of the code names that I went with was just the letter A for each of the files. So Dance and Draw was A4. That's what it was. And it says it started on April 13th, but I'm pretty sure there was like an earlier file, and then like I had to make like a duplicate. I'm pretty sure. So Dance and Draw started a little earlier. Like I just wrote down like a bunch of themes, and I went from there. So like trying to get the sound, and then like writing like small rhymes, words, and trying to like fit those words into those sounds. So with Dance and Draw, as the first track of the album, it was where I was trying to find passion. I wanted to dance. I wanted to draw. But I'm now like making music, making videos, and making short films, whatever. So it's kind of like that thing where like failed passions went through, and I still kind of think about it to this day. At first, I wanted to just be a piano track, but I would later just add like the drum and bass, and that's where it kind of just got this. I wanted a little, something like that. I think that was, I think that kind of just like followed along with the chord sequence. So I just wanted like a little something in the middle of each keys press. And then like this little melody. So it was taken from another idea called Erase Me. I think that was like A2. That was the second ever idea for the project. Erase Me will later turn into Sorry for Me, which is on the B-side record. I just took like those little notes that I had in Erase Me and then added it onto here. I think it works better here. So I didn't end up really using Erase Me as like a full track that I wanted it to be a part of for the record. And then the chorus, I wanted like a synth backing. Just to kind of feel like the droniness, that's not a word, but like some kind of like droning, ear ringing effect where like I really want this, but it's not gonna happen. And then man, the drum and bass, it was. I mean, you can't really hear the bass through the phone speakers, but. It's a nice bass riff. So yeah, that is Dance and Draw. Okay, so Triumphant. This was A1. This was just A. So this was the very, very first idea that I had for stuff I'm feeling. I remember just like sharing this like little melody to friends, and it was so cool to me. Like there was something so energizing about it where I could be frustrated, and that's what I wanted for a particular set of words and rhymes about like the past year, at least when I was making it in the past year. I was just so frustrated, and that's kind of where Triumphant came from. So yeah, this started on April 6th, 2022. I would say it started a little bit earlier because of like lyric wise and like trying to like get something down. But yeah, over 7 hours spent on Triumphant. I think the hardest challenge with this was like all the vocals. Those were really hard for me to mix. I was like trying to find the right balance because I really wanted the drums and the bass to be very prominent. Like, I just wanted that sound of frustration to come out. It sounds so simple on its own, but it's very effective in a full mix. And I also wanted like backing sounds to the main melody, so I had the guitar. This this little riff was it's just one of my favorite of mine. It's just it was one of my favorite riffs, and I ended up kind of like reusing it in a different idea that I had, and that would be Keep Up. That's on the B-side record. It was just one of my favorite riffs, but like as a whole, the song wasn't working for me. So the riff is just my favorite. It's just my favorite within Triumphant. And then there's like this little synth. I think there was like some effects already in the synth preset for that. So I was like, that sounds nice. I'm gonna use that. Yeah, that's pretty much Triumphant. It's a pretty straightforward idea of frustration. So the next track, Burn the Desire, this was A92. This was quite a big jump from like the early ideas of the album to the 92nd idea of the album. That's how many that just shows like how much like what was going through my head with all the themes and the lyrics and the like demos I was making. And it says it started on May 1st. I had a lot of ideas rummaging this little brain back in early 2022. It was so much. For like the third idea, I was very set on or the third track on the album, I was really set on something to have I'm out of time with what I'm working on. So I just need to burn the desire of wanting to work on this project because I'm out of time. I no longer feel passion for this. I want to move on, and that's what it is. So Burn the Desire took over 6 hours to work on, and I was definitely at this point. I was working with a lot of different piano riffs. So one of the ones I was working on was this. From that melody, I just kind of added on everything else on a whim. All the drums, the bass, the little choir you can hear with a backing horn. And then all the synths and whatnot, and yeah, it's just very simple. There's not much to it. That's Burn the Desire. The next track, Was It Worth It? This was pretty much just paired up with Burn the Desire. Took over 7 hours. I know I wanted something where I kept pushing through, because this is the same, because it continues on from the idea of Burn the Desire. That's why they connect. Where like I'm running out of time, but I still pushed through, and I felt out of it. I like this thing just happened. I did it. What now? And like just damn, I still pushed through, but really? So that's where Was It Worth It came from. And it just kind of started out with this guitar riff. I had no idea um, where it would go to, but then it just kind of evolved into the piano chords, and then the drums, and everything started to click. I think I think this one took a lot of figuring out because like as I was trying to like figure out this structure, I was like, um, I was lost. I didn't want to like fully like repeat myself with Burn the Desire. Um I want a little variation with the structure. So that's kind of where like these come in. And then like let the guitars come back in. The guitars really helped me with like structuring like the different pieces of the song, and that's when I got something like this. And I think that was just a nice touch. It sounds so down, and that's what I wanted, was something where I didn't feel anything when I completed the thing that I had desire for. So the next track is Won't You See. This was the 20th idea. So Won't You See took over 7 hours. I just had the idea of the intro, and that was it. I think like the whole idea, I wanted something cinematic at first. Um, and like the idea that I had with like the whole album movie that ended up being scrapped was someone dancing as the sun set, and that would have been like such a cool shot. But I just ended up could not go forth with that idea. So all I had was the intro for quite a while until I added the rest. And the whole idea of Won't You See was like something motivating, something where my friends have come through and they're helping me out. But in the outro, which was also kind of like later on down the line of working on this song, that was like where without them I just feel so lonely, because the whole idea of it was that they were there, but the next day they weren't. So Won't You See is kind of a short, bitter, sweet song. So Trapped is the 6th track. It was the first single. Um, as you will hear later the Saturday as this video goes up, it was a very different song. The sound was very motivating, but I needed it to be just completely sad. This was almost a completely just piano track, but I ended up adding like like backing stuff, um, such as the little bass and the cymbals um, crashing. So this was also early idea. Started on April 2nd. Took over 8 hours. That's what it says. There's really not much to say about trap because other than like what it originally was, I then transformed it into this. It was just a whole idea of isolation. It certainly because of what happened during 2020 to 2021, but also after that, I just felt isolated. I didn't see my friends that often anymore, and I just felt trapped within like my own work. I just wanted to get a career done, finish high school. I was still in high school at this time, but I didn't feel like I was living my life. So that's trapped. So the next track is an interlude. The dream where everything was normal. This was the 51st idea. Started on March 30th, 2022. Only took 5 hours in total. This was a very simple structure, and I wanted something where something was like ready to jump at you, and that's what I wanted with like this chord, with these chords. And then I switch it up for the chorus. Something is just right behind you. So the dream where everything was normal, all I had was like the sound of it for a while. I had a hard time coming up with the lyrics, but I kept thinking about like the theme, the dream where everything was normal. I just had to like really set my mind to it, like I felt like I had to dream about it again, and I kind of did, a little bit maybe. Somewhat, and I was able to write the lyrics from there. So not much with Dream, other than being very haunting and electrifying in some way. So, Demons Yelling. It says it took around 8 hours. It was the 8th idea overall for the project. Beginning in March. It was the toughest song that I ever had to work on for the album. First of all, there was a structure I had to figure out. There was the riffs I had to figure out. There was the drums I had to figure out. There was the lyrics I had to figure out. And then like, oh my god, it was the hardest song to mix for me. It was just trying to figure out how to make it all work, but I did it, and that's what I'm proud of. So, Demons Yelling, it's a very vague title, first of all. But when you listen to it, it's kind of just a rant of like a past that's ready to come back to you. Um, it just feels like constant yelling like that is gonna come back and haunt you. With that past, you feel like you have to like live in the moment, but like living in the moment while that past is yelling at you, you kind of lose yourself. So that was the whole basis of Demons Yelling. I wanted a little bouncy beat with the drums. I I wanted a little synth that felt like a voice in your ears. That felt frantic. I wanted a choir. So it was really just like something simple but that feels so extravagant. Just like kind of like how you unravel yourself into that's not you. So, Losing Sleep, the next track. It was a 50-second idea 52. Started back in March of 2022. It says it took 10 hours, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. It went through kind of several ideas sonically. At first, I wanted like a kind of like a rambunctious beat, but that was just not something in my capabilities. So I went something simpler, but then that beat kind of ended up being too dead. I don't know. It wasn't fun. It was just kind of boring. I kind of took that like chord riff from that second beat, and then I turned it into this. Simple but effective in kind of like a melancholic sorrow way. And that like little synth to like back up the piano. I wanted like little trickling feeling with the synths. And I think the drums were like the best part. These like my favorite drum sequence that I ever made. Really, it was a fun one. This one was like really fun to make because I kind of just like putting all the details together for this one into a song where, to be quite frank, I was losing sleep, or at least I felt like I was losing sleep because in like that last like almost 3 years at that time, I struggled sleeping. It was I felt like I kept have reoccurring nightmares of my own fears, and it wasn't great. I felt restless. I felt like I was waking up too early. I felt like I was going to sleep too late, and all of that. And then there was a part where I felt like I was staying up for people, and that feeling just wasn't reciprocated from those people. So I I just lost myself further. You're No Fun next track was the 20th idea. It was a pretty early idea. I think when I was beginning the album, I was talking with a friend of what I wanted to make. Kind of like this voice is saying this and the other voice is saying that, and that friend would actually help me out on that song, and they would feature. So You're No Fun started back. The file started back around March, and it only took about 5 hours total. I do remember this, like, spending so little time on this file because I felt like I had everything right. Of course, my friends said like, okay, this needs to be done, and then that needs to be done. So I fixed it up from what the demo was, which you would hear pretty soon. But yeah, I just thought of this like this specific riff and drums, and that was it. Everything was just kind of like, I got it. I know the structure. I know how the rest of the song is gonna go. And that was pretty much it. It was like, I guess it was like the easiest song to work on for the album. It just took a lot longer, in a way where like I had to wait for it to be ready to be recorded, because it was clearly a very different style that I had to work with and figure out, and of course waiting for my friend, but came out in the end. The next song, Corsets, the second song that would have a feature, but also the final song that would have a feature. This was idea 74. Started around April. Says it took 12 hours. Holy yeah, I remember this taking a bit. From the demo, it was hard to figure out to make this something fun, but also something egotistical, because these are what these feature tracks are. They're very egotistical. It's kind of something that spiraled from me after Demons Yelling and Losing Sleep. So I needed a track where it would be like kind of like this, hey, yeah, and then this next track will be, this is how we're doing it, dun, dun, dun. Something like that. But it was very hard to figure out because like there was like layers in the sounds where I was trying to make it sound like not tinny or weak, like trying to make it strong. I did end up figuring it out though. So it just kind of started with the drums. Then I had to like figure out the synths from there. So you get this, you get the horns, and a bit of like a pad synth. And I kind of just like shifted around their melodies for like each part. Of course, all in key. But it was fun, just kind of just shifting around their the sounds for each part, and it was a very tough song to record. Um, because a lot of the deliveries was turning out too weak. But I figured it out. So, no one else slash ignore, track 12, idea 66, started around April, took 11 hours. Wow. Okay. So this kind of like theme of no one else and ignore, I've always had the idea of wanting to do like this slash song, like this two songs in one. It was a theme of like after these two songs, You're No Fun and Corsets, there was a point where I realized there's no one else like these people that I'm talking about. So after that, it was more of like I'm becoming lonely again because these friends aren't really becoming my friends. Just how it is, and ignore just kind of became like the end results of finding out no one else is like these people. So no one else kind of was inspired by like a melody that I found online. It's not the exact melody, because I can't really like recreate someone's melody really. It was just this piano riff. Then I kind of added everything that I know into that riff. And then the next part, ignore, was just we're just like shifted around elements of no one else, so they kind of connect more. And that was basically ignore. I just shifted around elements, and this was fun to work on because like it was something so fun and simple for me that I was able to work on, and I like the end results of it. At my last track 13 was it was an idea that kind of stemmed from like other ideas, and then it kind of became one. Overall, this is idea 36. Started early April. Took almost 9 hours, but it's just 8 hours. It was so basically I reconstructed the melody of Bad Guy, Billie Eilish. It's not the exact same riff because I kind of just shifted around notes, so it's not like an exact recreation. I reconstructed it, interpolated, I guess. I made it slower, and I kind of added everything else of my own making. I wanted the bass to be very prominent, and I wanted the drums to be very prominent, and that was the overall main focus of the track, instrumental wise. And as for the vocals, it was also a tough one to record, because I had to do like so many variations of the chorus, but that was really it. It was a very straightforward song where I reconstructed the Bad Guy melody into a different melody and added everything else on a whim. the next interlude track, Somebody I Wish I Could Be. This was idea 33. Started around early April. So now it says 2 hours, but in total it was an hour and 58 minutes. An hour and 58 minutes in total. So the shortest song that was spent on. It was also the shortest song on the album, but what I'm trying to say is I spent the shortest amount of time with this track. The end results tells you that much. Like, yeah, it is pretty simple. It's reverb drums, not much drums, only like a kick, a snare, and I believe hi-hats. And it was a guitar riff that was just down in my feels. Like, after being at my last, it was a point where like I'm tired of everything. Like I'm tired of all the passions and desires, and I'm tired of just feeling isolated. And like that next point is, I wish I was that person. That person that's living their life and has friends and all of that. It came from like events in high school where like builds up jealousy, as I've explored in the prologue EP. I wanted this interlude to be like a little like, this is the point that I have reached. But after talking with people, like kind of just rediscovering myself, and through working on music and videos, I was finding myself again. Upgrade was a bit of an early idea, though it was idea 60. So it started around March, April, just like all the other songs. It says 15 hours. Okay, so this is the longest song I've ever spent the most time on. And understandably so. This was meant to be the first single. But that didn't end up working out. The demo I was working with, there were some strong points, but it didn't feel like enough. And then I just like had to keep building on it. And when I thought I did, I recorded the vocals, I mixed those vocals, and I kind of teased it out. Though I posted it on TikTok, like just kind of just sharing like my process with it, because I felt like it was ready. But that TikTok blew up. It was oh boy. So the reason why it blew up was because I used like a sound, a very popular sound. You might know it. It was like the sound to like get on the For You page, and oh boy did it. It reached a lot of people, but in a very negative way. They received a lot of negative response. It was not a good time, because it was something that I was proud of, but clearly it wasn't enough for people. So I ended up just pushing Upgrade to the back of my mind. Just, I gotta keep working on it, and that was the whole mindset of it. That's why it took so long. I guess that's what it's according to say. I feel like it didn't take that long, but I guess it did. I was just so in love with this piano riff. I love the drums. The bass um sounded so cool. And there was all like the little parts, all the synths and sound effects. That was so cool. Like it felt motivating. It felt inspiring to me. Like something, like it was so something like it felt like what trap was going to be at first, but I scrapped that and I put it on to upgrade because it was the moment where after rediscovering myself, I was upgrading myself. I was making projects that I could be proud of. I was writing, I was creating, and it was the one point in my life where I feel inspired to make stuff. It's the point where I wanted to make it into career, direct and edit and write stories, films, and I want to make music on the side because music is so fun. I love music. And that's what upgrade is all about, just upgrading myself every day because I'm learning something new every day, and that's the entire point of the song, learning something new every day. There was this saying, I forget where it's from, but don't let yourself, don't never let yourself become the teacher. Always be the student, because if you're always the student, then you can always learn something. Never become the teacher. So upgrade took a long time. I felt like I had to get a lot of stuff right with it. For me, I did it for me. Because like after listening to it, after listening to like many versions of it, after many mixes and demos, it wasn't right. I had to wait on it until everything was right about it. I had to redo all of my vocals for it. I rewrote lyrics. It was a lot, but I got it done, and I'm very proud of it. So the final track, Idea 43, Hey I'm This. Started around the same time as the other songs. Took 3 hours. That is not a long time. It all started from an idea of like I was writing a poem or like an essay poem. It was something for a scholarship. It was kind of like just asking like, who are you? And that was kind of like a lot of what like college scholarship applications were asking, like, who are you? I felt complete. It was the idea. I felt complete because I'm learning something new every day. I discovered myself in making all of these projects because they're so fun to make. They're so interesting to make. I love being creative. So hey, I'm this creative person. And that's who I want to be. I want to live my life my own way. That's another idea that was floating around with this. That's what I wrote, recorded, and with the instrumental, the piano chords are reverse. I think that was an idea that I always liked, just reversing the chords. I felt like it had like a nice calming effect to them. Like there's still keys being pressed, but in reverse. It's kind of cool. And I wanted to make like this little bouncy beat with it. Something kind of something like taking a walk in a park. Like I'm feeling energized and I want to keep moving, want to keep creating. And yeah, everything else just happened like that within the track. and it was a good note to end the album on. So that's chapter one, stuff I'm feeling. This was a project that took a lot out of me, but also made me learn a lot about me and boosted my skills in writing and producing. It's an album I'm proud of because I finally get to like let out these life feel like these human feelings that I have, these human emotions that I have. I'm not a very good speaker. I am not good at talking about things. I'm not good at talking to people, which is a whole nother like reason why I'm doing these projects. It's because it's to get more of my ideas out without talking to people, because it's just so hard for me. Just never good at speaking, public speaking. All of this is like no script. It's just completely improv, I guess, which is also hard for me. You can hear me like repeat and stuttering. I want to end this just saying thank you for listening to the album. If you haven't, go take a listen. And today is also the release of all of the instrumentals from the main record. The instrumentals I'm just so proud of. They're the most fun for me. There's something they're the most interesting to me. They're the most creative to me. I love them. I love this album because it holds a special place in my heart. It is my heart. And with that, happy 1 year anniversary to that album. So if you enjoyed this, leave a like, comment down your thoughts about the songs, and subscribe to see more content, and ring the bell to be notified of that content. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Bye, yo.